Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, makeup lover. If you're watching this, it's not so bad. I'm going to be using a traditional foundation. This is the Tarte HYDROFLEX. It's supposed to be a hydrating serum foundation. I think it's going to be light coverage. I'm using the color 32N Medium Neutral. You hear that? That tells me light coverage. I love trying new foundations. I do prefer my SEINT, but I also like finding things because I like trying new things. Heck, what? It's makeup. You should be playing with makeup. I'm going to use the SEINT powder brush. This is the brush that I use when I'm trying traditional foundations. This is a great foundation brush. Here's the deal. I am going to hybrid this with my SEINT for my contour, my bronzer, and my blush because traditional foundation is 18% pigmentation, so it's still not the same as SEINT, which is 80%. It's gonna feel light coverage to me. It's not gonna cover the things I want it to. That was one of the things that got me with makeup before, is I would always wanna cover everything, but I always had to put so much makeup on, and it looked like I had so much makeup on. I'm gonna use SEINT for my contour and my bronzer and my blush because they're gonna work kind of like a concealer. I can give myself an even tone, but the extra coverage from my stuff is gonna come, honestly, from SEINT probably. That's my guess. That's my guess. I'm gonna put my hair up, especially working with this liquid. Let's get started. Okay, we're gonna give this a try. First impression here. Sounds liquidy. Sounds liquidy, and I don't know if I said this, I'm using the color 32N Medium Neutral. Here's another thing that really kind of trips my trigger with traditional makeup. That stuff stains, so if I drip on my nice sweater here, it's done. It's not coming out. SEINT will wash out. All right, let's put this on. Let's see how I color matched myself. Wow, that just absorbs right into the brush. Okay. So I probably put too much. Oh, that's fuller coverage than I was expecting. This is a pretty darn good match, Amanda. You know, they have on there. Oh, wow, that does go on really nice. Okay. I didn't put a primer on because I forgot. But that's okay. This is giving really good coverage. Look at that. That is really nice coverage, and it's spreading. It's doing really good. I mean, I'm bringing this all the way up. That's nice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, this is surprising the heck out of me. It's a really good match. I matched myself. I went on their site. Now, full disclosure, you can go on their site and it has a pick my shade. And I put in SEINT and I put the foundation color I've been using, and I felt it picked a color that was too light for me. So I shaded up. And I did pretty good. So I wouldn't fully trust putting in, like, I wear amber with SEINT and trusting that color. This is a really nice shade. And this is also a really nice finish. That's a really nice finish. I'm pleasantly surprised with this one. Hot dog. Look at that. Look at that coverage. And I went all the way up and around my eye. Here's my thing with Tarte. I like their creamy concealer, ultra creamy Shape Tape. I like it, but I don't feel like it has longevity with coverage. I do notice my darkness pulls through on my under eyes, but I will use it today just for the sake of I'm using a Tarte foundation. Why not use a Tarte concealer? All right, we're gonna grab some more because that covered like half my face. I do feel like I had to put some on, but it really went down like into the brush. It seemed like it did, but then it didn't. This is a great brush for traditional makeup. All right, we're gonna go again. We're gonna add it right onto the brush. I think some people put it right onto their face. I don't like that. This, I can dibby dab it everywhere and then spread it. This is really nice. Wow. I'm really surprised at the finish of this. I feel like my camera is very dirty too. Maybe that's why. Let's try. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Okay, sometimes I just don't pay enough attention, so that looks way better. Here's the deal that I'm going to start talking about the foundation and my feelings about it. Foundations go all over, and so I feel like I've washed my face out. And this is where in my old makeup routine, I would be like, oh, whatever. And I would start wrecking myself. But it was also because I took all the dimension out of my face just now. I turned it all one color. This spreads out. This has really, it has like a nice sheen to it. I need to contour my face. It's giving pumpkin. I have a very round face right now, but I'm starting a new lifestyle. A fit life, not a fit moment, is what my trainer says. And she's amazing. She tells me like it is, but she does it in a nice way so I don't get my feelings hurt. But yeah, but I've just taken all the dimension out, and I feel like it's kind of like when you put something bright down your nose, it can make it look wider. As I've done this, I feel like I've rounded my face. So now I get to go restructure. And this is what I talk about all the time with Saint, is you put the colors on based off of the tones that are there, and then you don't have to turn your face one color, one dimension, and then restructure it. So this is where I have a hard time. But I will say this, I am really pleasantly, like, I got a little guy. I think this was $23 for this little bugger. And you can't tell how full it is, so that bothers me too. Okay, Tarte C HYDROFLEX. This is a really, gosh, that's really, I don't feel like you're gonna have to dot with a bunch of concealer all over. This covered my stuff really well. I would say these two so far are my favorites. I like a dewy finish. If you're used to wearing something with a dewy finish, that's a great option. Oh, it doesn't feel really heavy. It has a dewy touch to it. Let's touch this side. So it's not setting and mattifying and drying and feeling like I have a mask on. It's really thin, but it gives really good coverage. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna use the Tarte, but I'm gonna use my balm under my eyes because I have naturally crepey under eyes. I'm 43 years old. And with my naturally crepey eyes, concealers like this are going to crepe them more and they're going to crease. Prep with a balm, and Saint's it's good. It's good. All right, we're gonna add some dimension, some brightness. So I'm using Light Neutral 22N. That's funny. So this is 32N, neutral, medium neutral, and then I'm using light neutral. Okay, 22N. That's pretty, it feels like a pair. It feels like a match. Okay. I'm going to go into my direct darkness, so which is right into this trough, and then I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to bring it up. Honestly, I didn't hold out much hope for this, and I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'm over applying my concealer here. I find that this isn't as pigmented as Saint, and so I do feel like on my actual darkness, I need more, which is for me in the inner corners here. All right, then I'm gonna use this to add my brightness down my nose. I'm gonna hit my Cupid's bow and then right here. Okay, I've had this stuff for a good amount of time. I think starting with a travel size is nice. I mean, this stuff lasts a really good amount of time. All right, I'm gonna stick with my powder brush with the side that had the makeup on. It feels a little damp, so it is a watery foundation, but it has really good coverage. And I'm just gonna tap this out, and all I'm doing here is I'm tapping this out over the brows. It's lighter than my skin tone. It's working really well, and I almost feel like using the same brush as the foundation with the concealer is helpful. I don't like beauty blenders. I don't want to get up and go get my beauty blender wet, wring it out, wring it out, wring it out, wrap it up, wring it out, and then come and sit down. It's just a step I don't want to take. Color me lazy. I don't care. But using this brush with this liquidy, I'm calling this liquidy. This is liquidy. You got to shake it. Good. All right. Using this brush, it almost has a damp feeling to it, which makes blending out the Tarte really nice. See how that widened my nose? That's what I mean when I turned my whole face one color, and I feel like it went, I don't like that. But I'm a full coverage girl. This is a full cover. I am shocked. This is a really nice foundation. It really is. I'm excited to see the wear of it, but pairing it with the Tarte, they work really well together. They really do. I think, again, using this brush, a denser brush, if you have one of those OG brushes or one of those Merit brushes, they're more expensive than a double-ended brush with Saint, but this brush is good. The buff brush might be good too. All right, but it gets it a little, again, I'm going to repeat myself. It feels a little damp where the foundation was, and it helps with the blending process of the concealer. But I'm using this to add lift, and then of course to be covering my darkness. I did bring that foundation up and under my eyes for a little extra kickaroo because I wasn't going to color correct. And I'm just bringing this over the lids. I'm going to use a shadow primer when I do my eyeshadow. This is really nice. This is very, very nice. And then I am going to be using Saint's new blotting powder. That stuff is money, man. That stuff, it's soft like silk. When you touch it, you're going to go, oh, that's soft like silk. Just like Amanda said. It's going to give you, you can set this makeup direct if you're wanting to, because I do think with this Tarte concealer, you do need to set it. And with the Saint's blotting powder, it's less expensive than what's out there with other brands. Hourglass has one, and it has it with 3 colors. I just think that's too much. And then it's more expensive even just to get one of their colors. I feel so washed out though. I don't like applying my makeup and turning my whole face one color. This is hard for me. But it's also old habits. You know, I'm used to seeing myself get structured as I go. But I am really surprised. Let me get a mirror up in the business. Okay, looking at it. You can easily over apply this foundation. I feel like it has a foundation. You're gonna look like you're wearing makeup. Like I always say, makeup will always look like makeup. It should look like good makeup. The finish is not the same as Saint. Like it looks like, gosh, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It has a makeup texture, not a cream makeup. Does that make sense? The coverage is amazing. And if you like, let's finish this before I give my opinion about it. I am going to use a different brush for contouring. I'm going to use my detail brush because it's my favorite for contouring. And I'm going to go into my cedar. Now, again, this is going to work as extra coverage, and I didn't need to spot treat my acne scarring. I used to have to put concealer on it. I didn't have to do that this time. It's giving really good coverage. The foundation, it's making my skin look more mature because of the finish of the foundation. Does that make sense? But let's see how this looks with Saint is foundational coverage when you're working with your contours and your blushes. I don't feel like I'm gonna need Frenchie on my apples with this, but we'll see. Okay, so we're gonna go in and I'm just gonna give myself my contour. Is this, oh, it's starting to set. Okay. But I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add, here's the nice thing, if you feel like you're getting a really a more matte finish, I do feel like this has a better than matte finish. So it's between a dewy and matte. But when you're going over it with something like Saint, where my contour is foundation, but it's cream, not powder, I'm going to be adding a dewy aspect to my makeup with my contour. Do you see that? And it's just nice. But I'm able to just put my nice thin amount on like I like. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my nose, because my nose is kind of bugging the heck out of me right now with being so washed out. But it applies well over the foundation. It's just heavy. It's a heavy looking foundation for being as thin as it is, and I'm not sure. It just, you can see I'm making a trade-off is all. And it's creating a texture. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this the right way. My bump, man, it gets me every time. I just don't know how to explain this, but it has a thickening look to it. But it feels light and it feels nicer than it looks. Does that make that, maybe that's the way I need to say it. This feels nicer than it looks. So I'm just adding all my contour in all my normal places, but you see how the contour just changes the look. But if you're looking for a good full coverage foundation, I think this may have some good longevity, but I do see that in this area, I'm going to get some cracking and gathering, and we'll see. I don't know if I should come back with, I don't like the finish. This makes my skin look more mature. And it's not because it's accentuating fine. It just, the finish is, I don't know how to explain it. I think I could go about my day like this. It's just not my usual makeup. I'm having a hard time with this. It went on and I was like, whoa, what? But then when you if people are going to be standing close to you, it's going to look different than SEINT. I don't know. I'm going and restructuring everything though. I'm thinning this face out. Okay, I'm going to go in with my blush. What kind of blush do I want to wear today? I'm going to go back to my powder brush and I'm going to do Fig, which is like Renaissance. Do I want to? Yeah, I do. I'm going to go with Fig because I want to see how this wears. So I've got Fig on and I always start right up here and right over here because I did get a lot on the brush. This stuff picks up really easy. I'm just going to blend. I got too much on. Fig picks up easy. Okay, there we go. But it's very pretty. It has that berry color to it, and it's really nice. And it's a semi-gloss, so it's going to help add some dewiness to my look. I really need to finish my makeup to give this the full opinion of it. So we're going to do, I'm going to come back. I'm going to make an eyeshadow tutorial, but not here. So let's add some lip. Where's my contour? There it is. As always, we're going to add that shadow. This is a really good, this is one of those foundations that you could easily over apply and put too much on. And I feel like it's a less is more foundation, so be careful. I'm going to do my half red MAC. I'm going to stick to more traditional makeup. I just had to use my SEINT stuff. I want to get some bronzer on too. It definitely, using a traditional foundation, I feel like you really need to add bronzer because it does add a new element to your makeup where it puts a little life. I'm going to use Xanadu. I'm going to use my Beauty Counter. I love this color. This is Petal. This is Petal Beauty Counter. It's one of my favorites. And it's light and sheer, and it goes really well with MAC Half Red. Okay, I'm gonna grab my bronzer. Do I have it in here or do I have it? All right, so I'm gonna take my bronzer. This is Xanadu. I'm almost out. I use the dickens out of this stuff. So I'm grabbing Xanadu. I can't melt it. That's why I look like that. It looks like this. So any of your illuminators that are creams that are, shimmery, so Xanadu is one of them. If you melt it, all the flecks are gonna settle to the bottom. And it's Bella again. All right, so I'm gonna add bronzer to just throw a little life back in my skin. Oh, look at how good that is. Look at how good that does. I really love me some bronzer. This is gonna help me a lot. Just gonna blend this with the under eye. But I do know that it's giving me good coverage. I need a fluffy brush. This is giving me really nice coverage. And now we're gonna set it. And then I'll be back with all the rest of my makeup on. So I'm gonna use the Plush Prep Mist and I'm going to be using SEINT's blotting powder. These two together will make your makeup stay for so much longer with very little touch-ups. It's such a good product. I even worked out in my SEINT makeup with these products and it held up. I didn't need to retouch. It didn't make me look greasy, and I'm a greasy girl. So spray your face. I wish I could do that with like Grace, but not this girl. All right, I'm gonna take a fluffy brush. I'm going into the blotting powder, and I can go in and I can set all my high oil areas. And I'm kind of curious to see how this works with traditional makeup. It has a sheen to it, which leaves a nice dewy finish. Tarte concealer just doesn't give me the coverage I'm hoping for. I'm going to grab a little more because I just don't feel like it gives me the coverage on my darkness. And I'm adding a little bit to the top of my apples for a little extra. I usually do my under eyes after my blush, but we'll see how this works. It's just hard. Concealers are just hard. It's just not as pigmented, and so it is what it is. But I'm trying to give myself extra coverage under my eyes because it really bugs me. And it doesn't, so I added those 2 darts and it just kind of wants to stick and stay. I'm gonna take whatever's left on this brush for powder. I don't want to turn my nose up at it yet, but it has that element of foundation that I feel makes me look a little bit more mature, but it is a really, like, I don't know how to explain it. I do really like it. I think I still prefer Charlotte Tilbury more, and I still like Saint the best. But this is a really nice coverage. I think your bottle will last a long time. This is a little bottle. How many ounces is this? Does it even say? Doesn't say. Just shake well. Oh, I don't know. It's small. All right, let's get some makeup on. Let's get some eyes, and let's just see the finished product. Right. Eyes are on, makeup's on. I feel like it came together really well. And now that my makeup has been sitting for about 15 minutes and my skin is my skin, let's take a look at it. It feels really nice, and it feels very hydrating. There's movability to it, and I feel like it's a little more movable than even Saint. A lot of I may have over applied. I may have over applied, and here's another thing that's bothering me. So with Saint, I can over apply. It's no big deal. I can easily over apply Saint. You can over apply any makeup. This doesn't blend down. And I want something that if I over apply in one of my high traffic, not my high movement areas, like right here around my mouth, this is where I can start looking really mature, marionette, those kinds of things I'm maturing, okay? Again, I'm 43, so things are going down. And this will, I can't blend it down. I'm not able to blend this down, and I'm really struggling. I feel like from here, this probably looks lovely. I think it's not gonna work with my, I don't know. I'm so used to Saint. This is actually a very lovely finish. And I need to remember what I tell everybody else. Nobody's looking at you this close. And if they are, they're not your friend. I am getting some creasing here, and that I expected with Tarte. Tarte does crease. And even with the balm, I don't know. It's nice. I do like this. Honestly, this would be a pick for me. If you're asking me, hey, what are your top picks for traditional foundations? Tarte C, God, it's not an easy name. None of them are easy to remember, but Tarte C HYDROFLEX, very nice. It feels really hydrating. Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Foundation, also equally good. I do like it. I like them both. I find them to be comparable. This one is more liquidy, whereas this one goes on thick. Same finish. I think this is actually fuller coverage. I think the Tarte C HYDROFLEX has fuller coverage than Charlotte. When I put this on, it was really going on, and I didn't notice that with the Charlotte Tilbury. I like the dewy finish of this. I don't like matte finishes. It accentuates my pores, and that I don't like. And my matte finishes also crack really bad here, and I hate that. That is an instant, immediate no. If it's a matte finish, I'm an immediate no. I need that dewy finish because I have maturing skin. Maturing skin moves a little bit more differently. The creases are a lot deeper, and the fine lines are a lot deeper. And so if you're using something mattifying, There's extra steps you have to take to make that work. What if you could have it in one though? And that's my thing. I can have a matte finish, but I got to do all these other things, all these special areas. This one gives me really good coverage and movability. It might be a little too movable. This is very dewy. It's a very dewy finish, more so than the Charlotte Tilbury, but these so far are contenders of traditional makeups I would put my name on. This, the more I'm wearing it, the more that I like it. I'm interested to see how it works through the day. I don't know if I'll come back and be like, so here I am, but if you ask in the comments, I will answer, and that's it. I really like this. I like the way this blends out. I know I'm talking and talking and talking, but this one really surprised me with how liquidy it is, but how well it's spread. I was washed out. I was mattified. I didn't like that. I needed to restructure. It pairs beautifully. I mean, if I were to use a powder contour, it would not have this finish. So pairing it with, I need to get a good stick contour. List your favorite stick contours in the comments for me to try, and I'll try them because I've got the foundations. I want to try some, I think that's next on my list, is trying new contours. None are going to be foundational coverage like Saint, but I think the finish I have, my Saint hybrid, plays a big part in that. It would not have this kind of finish. Plus with a cream contour bronzer blush, you have a lot of control about the blendability with it, whereas sometimes when, especially when you're working with a dewy finish of a foundation and you go to put a powder contour on, it's gonna stick and be really hard to blend. It's gonna wanna stay in that spot you pressed it, and it's just very uneven and very hard to blend, and then it starts to look like a bruise. Using a cream contour, especially with a dewy finish foundation, I think is key to getting a finish you want, a seamless finish. I do really like this. I'm actually gonna say I really like this. I think I'll have to touch up with powder throughout the day more than I do with Saint, but I do really like this one. I'm gonna say this is a good one. Tarte HYDROFLEX. I like it. I think it's good. That's it. I'm stamping it. It's a good one. Have a great day.